All praise to the Most High and nobody else. Shalom, everybody. Today's lesson: AI robots against humanity, against man and against mankind. See, there's a man that made AI software, and when you attach the software to the robots, something seems to go wrong. But the funny thing is not going wrong. It's made just to do exactly what it's meant to do for the robots, and this is what they wanted. But however, the people didn't realize what they wanted was not good for them. So the guy who actually invented this thing has told everybody that they should stop. He doesn't want it to keep going. You know, he's actually tried to take action to stop this thing. It has not worked. These robots that were made in a laboratory, AI robot, warrior robots, killed 50 soldiers in that laboratory before the soldiers were able to subdue the robot, the ones that were still alive, obviously. Then when that happened, they disassembled it. And then when they disassembled it, they said one of the robots reached into the cloud. What is the cloud? Demon possession. They believe it's something else, but it's not. But so when this cloud made the robot, it made the robot what? Start to rebuild itself, and better than what it was built. Technology better, physically better, weaponry wise better, smarter than what they had built it. They, of course, they have caught notes of this, and they shut the AI system down completely. Since this time, there are them and others who have been playing with this system. They added new features to the system to try to make it better and easier to control. However, they do not realize that they gave these robots the ability to think for themselves, although it comes out of their mouth that they gave these robots the ability to think for themselves. These robots don't want to serve man and mankind. They want to rule. And a person had a dream about robots being demon possessed. All I have to say is
at the end, but let me set up this clip in 5 words. Robot killers, Stephen Fry, watch.
Autonomous weapons have been described as the third revolution in warfare after gunpowder and nuclear bombs. They could mount rapid, devastating attacks on a huge scale. Thousands of experts, including Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking, have signed an open letter calling for a ban on the weapons. They say drones that can autonomously find and eliminate people meeting certain criteria are feasible within years, not decades. But calls for a ban have been rejected by the world's 10 largest military powers. And Musk has warned that international competition for AI superiority is the most likely cause of World War III. So, do we have a recipe for disaster? Let's start with the current situation. During Obama's presidency, the number of American troops in war zones dropped by around 90%, but there were 10 times more drone strikes. Russia has multiple unmanned drone tanks in development and completely autonomous armed vehicles guarding missile bases. America plans to enable its Abrams tanks to control robotic wingman vehicles to attack the enemy while protecting the manned tank. It is also considering a remote-controlled version of the high-speed Ripsaw vehicle. Air power is already used with relative impunity, and soon the fighters will use AI to control drone wingmen, able to carry weapons, test air defenses, and keep human pilots even further from danger. Around the world, anti-ballistic missile defenses and drones are diminishing nuclear deterrence. This is the US Navy's new unmanned ship designed to hunt submarines and launch surface weapons. It will cost around $20,000 per day to operate, compared to $700,000 per day for a manned destroyer. In a simulation test with the Air Force Research Lab, AI drones repeatedly defeated a human pilot. Former Air Force battle manager Gene Lee tried and failed to hit the drones and was destroyed by them every time. He said they seemed to be aware of his intentions and reacted instantly to his movements and attacks. Autonomous weapons would be cheap to mass produce and may become available to terrorists and dictators on the black market. A recent report by the US Defense Science Board called for immediate action to accelerate military AI development and understand the capabilities of other powers. It also noted that commercial drones are rapidly improving and private AI firms are well ahead of the military. Some argue AI will reduce accidental casualties by making fewer mistakes. If a soldier believes someone is a threat, their life depends on making a quick decision. A robot, on the other hand, could react a fraction of a second before it's fired on, or even wait until it's attacked. But the weapons could also be extremely effective at assassinations, subduing populations, and selectively killing particular ethnic groups. The second revolution in warfare brought the world close to World War III with the Cuban Missile Crisis. The third revolution may be even more volatile. We also need to plan for an even greater threat from AI itself. Many experts believe it will surpass human intelligence in the next few decades. It may then assume full control of the world's networked weapons. Would it use them for peacekeeping or for bringing humanity to a quick end? Whether or not humans retain control, an AI arms race may be a race to Armageddon. We believe a ban that's difficult to enforce is better than a world flooded with cheap, anonymous, autonomous weapons. What do you think?
So your business is finally open for business. Now,
weapons and warfare are becoming increasingly sophisticated. The latest battlefield technology is starting to look more like a computer game, with wirelessly connected soldiers communicating via sound and vision to drones carrying satellite-linked Wi-Fi hotspots and given orders by commanders that could be on the other side of the world. But the weapons of the future won't need soldiers or commanders to operate them, because they will be able to make the decision of what or whom to target themselves using artificial intelligence. The Pentagon is spending billions on developing a new generation of lethal autonomous weapons, or LAWs, like robotic fighter jets, missiles that decide what to attack, and ships that hunt enemy submarines. For now, remote weapons like UAVs or unmanned aerial vehicles are directed by humans from the safety of Cuban intelligence. The Pentagon is spending billions on developing a new generation of lethal autonomous weapons, or LAWs, like robotic fighter jets, missiles that decide what to attack, and ships that hunt enemy submarines. For now, remote weapons like UAVs or unmanned aerial vehicles are directed by humans from the safety of cubicles, often hundreds or thousands of miles away from a conflict zone. And as such, any decision to use lethal force is always made by a person. But before we start thinking Skynet is going to take over and we'll have Terminators roaming around, we are still a long way from the Hollywood version of AI. Although we have seen the latest generation of robots like the Boston Dynamics Atlas and its uncanny ability to walk and move like a human, we won't be seeing an army of robotic soldiers anytime soon. Whilst we think of AI being used with the latest hardware, the United States Air Force is working on using older aircraft refitted with